Financial support for the production of Issues in Education is provided by the Florida State University License Plate. Your FSU license plate supports scholarships for students who enrich and contribute to our communities. Special programs, gift certificates, and rebates for first-time buyers online at fsu.edu/mytag.
Coming up today on Issues in Education, college students who take on the challenge of becoming honors students, what life is like for them, why they do it, and how it can help them in their college careers and in their future. Welcome to Issues in Education. I'm Suzanne Smith, alongside my co-host, the Florida State University President, Dr. Eric Barron. The class of 2016 have started their freshman year, and at FSU, some are not only taking their first classes on a college campus, but they're also taking on the extra responsibility of the University Honors Program. The program is celebrating its 80th year this fall. To talk about what it's really like to take on this academic challenge, we're joined by James Mathis, director of the FSU Honors Program, and by someone who has lived it, Dan Stribling. He's an honors student, an FSU senior, a Goldwater Scholar, and because he's just not busy enough, a member of the FSU Flying High Circus. Thank you both for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So James, maybe you could start by just telling us, what does it mean to be part of the Honors Program?
Students in the honors program are students we recognize are some of the brightest and most motivated students we have. So what we seek to do is identify them and then give them opportunities to enrich their education. This would include honors courses, which are for honors students who come into the university. And they are all taught by faculty. We have an honors colloquium that first-year students take to engage them in research and ideas. And we support research agendas and support study abroad, and we also have a program to help guide them if they elect to do an honors thesis. Right? So all these are intended to enrich them and give them a chance to do that. We also have an honors housing. They have that opportunity to do honors housing and are members of an honors student association.
And how many students are involved?
We typically target about 10% of the incoming class to be invited, so that's roughly around 600 students. Students can also get into the program after their first semester, so we may have maybe 3,000 students at any given time on campus who are in the honors program.
Dan, how are you involved in the honors program? You do more than just one thing, from what I understand.
Right, yeah. I'm an undergraduate, and I'm part of the standard undergraduate honors program, but I'm also starting this semester an honors in the major thesis based on my research.
So just out of curiosity, you must have taken several honors classes at this particular point. What types of classes? How big a difference?
Well, I've taken quite a broad range of classes actually, from honors general chemistry to introduction to cultural anthropology to introduction to Shakespeare, all through the honors program. So it's really been a great experience actually having those classes are available standardly, but with knowing that they're honors classes, I really know that it's going to be worth my time to take them, really.
Now, you mentioned the honors program and the honors in the major program. Dr. Mathis, can you explain the difference in the different kinds of programs?
The honors program is for students who are invited as they come in or during their first year, and these students are then allowed to take the honors classes that Dan talked about. There are 4 honors students only, right? And the idea there is they're with peers in
per class.
Yeah, right, for each class. So the depth of the class and the level of the class can be raised. Right. So they also get support for research if they apply for that, and for study abroad, and as I mentioned, the Housing and Honors Student Association. So that's for the first year students who start it. The honors in the major program, which is actually the older of the 2 programs, is to guide students, support them if they elect to do an honors thesis, right? And that means they're going to do a thesis in their major and graduate with honors in the major. And that's open to all students campus-wide if they have a 3.2 GPA or higher.
And did you know you were going to be an honors student before you walked in the door?
Well, I had heard about the honors program since before I actually applied to Florida State, but they actually informed me through a separate letter after I'd applied to Florida State that I was going to be also invited to the honors program.
So I was an honors student invited at the end of my fall semester. for my grade point, but that was a very long time ago.
Well, what made you decide it was right for you to do? Because you don't have to do the honors program if you don't want to, but I mean, it sounds like only a few people get asked to do this. So what made you decide you wanted to do it?
Well, like I said, I'd heard about it before, so I was actually really interested in the opportunities that the program provided. I'd heard about the smaller class sizes, about the how all the classes are taught by faculty, and that really just spoke itself to me as something that I would really be interested in pursuing.
Does anybody say no?
Yes, but only because we send out invitations and they may not come. So we invite.
So if they come, they accept this invitation.
Right, yeah.
It'd be kind of strange to not accept an invitation for smaller classes and individual attention from faculty.
And I'm going to say every now and then there's a few students who do, and they may have their reasons, but I agree, because they can elect to do as much as they want once they're in the program, and there's some good perks to it. They get priority registration, but yeah, I would say almost all the students to come, they take the invitation.
What do you look for when you're choosing the students to be invited?
Well, the obvious things is we look at the GPA, which we recalculate, and their test scores. But particularly in recent years, when the number of students and the quality of students that apply is getting higher and higher, we've started to look at their academic profiles. We want students who've also challenged themselves. Working with admissions, they can help us identify core academic units in math, science, English, foreign languages, to see that these are students who didn't just get the high scores and grades, but also took the challenging classes. Right.
While they were doing it. Now, when I made that comment, I was an out-of-state student, and so here was this opportunity to come in based on the grades that I got to be in the honors program, which I equally accepted as well. So how many students are there? Is there still the opportunity based on performance?
Right.
And how many students come in that path?
That's what we call the lateral admission, because it strikes me how good some of the students are that we don't invite, because again, that bar's gotten so high. So we want to see students who are really excellent students that, when they come here and achieve well, that they have that chance as well. So after the first semester, they can apply. Obviously, we look at their grades for the first semester, and they write a brief essay about how they want to engage in the honors program. And we typically take about 200 more students through that route. Right?
Well, once they're in the program, what's required of them to stay in the program?
That's kind of evolved as well. We've always had a grade point requirement, 3.2. And we've always wanted them to take at least an honors class each semester, although that's not always easy to do depending on their major. But we're expecting them to take at least one honors class a year, maintain that grade point average. And for this class coming in now for the first time, we're going to require them to do 10 hours of service each year. Right? And we've wanted to do that for some time, but now we have things in place that can help them do that. And all the research shows not only that they should be doing that because of experience, but really students perform better when they're actually involved in service. And we will give them credit for that towards their honors medallion. So it's interesting, because I've been saying for years, if you're involved between 10 to 20 hours a week in worthwhile activities, you have better grades, you're happier, and your peer group is stronger. And we just did a survey of the graduating class for 2012. And those students that were actively engaged in more than 10 hours had a distinctly higher grade point than, and it could be the circus, it could be anything, worthwhile activities. So I think that's a great addition.
Dan, give us an idea of what the classes are like, because I mean, to do all this extra work with service hours and being involved with just other things on campus, how do you manage to handle I imagine there's extra work in the honors classes.
There is, yeah. I've noticed that there's about, I don't know, 25–30% more work on average in the honors classes, but usually that's well counterbalanced by the learning experience that you actually get in those classes. The extra work doesn't seem like that much extra work when you're getting getting more learning because of the environment. The smaller class sizes really facilitate interaction between the students and the teachers, and I've found that extremely valuable in helping me personally to learn, and I know that I've talked to a lot of other people that have felt the same way, so it really balances out well. So
what you're really saying is you take a Shakespeare class and you know what the reading list is, and then when you enter that class as an honors student, the professor is saying, no, this is a highly motivated group. They'll read 2 more books, I'll bet. That's what you mean.
No, it's generally just a little more understanding is required. You're not just answering the questions, you have to know really what you're saying when you say it, because a lot of students will have the right answer but not know why that is.
So it could be same material, but the depth of understanding is a much higher expectation.
As I've had the chance to teach honors classes in music theory over the years, that's been my experience. You know, when you teach, you have to find the right level for the given class. When it's an honors class, you teach right at the top level, and you can get into a lot more depth, which is great for them and for me when I teach them.
How do you manage your time in doing things like the honors classes, the extra research, the research that you've done for your major, and with the Flying High Circus? I mean, that takes, I think it's like an average of 3 hours per week just per act, and a lot of people are in several acts. So
that is true. I actually average out a little bit more than that, so it's a little bit even more. But so I don't always manage it well. As my friends and family will sometimes tell me that they just stop seeing me for a while. I sometimes disappear a little bit, but it's really, I find it very worthwhile to be involved in that much activity, even though you have to manage your time a little bit better, actually a lot better, but because of the better experience it provides while at school.
So does it matter what major you're in? Are there some majors that just lean heavily in an honors direction and others that don't?
Yes, that's absolutely true. Sciences seem to have a lot, because we have a lot of honors students in the sciences. They tend to be really good about being able to offer honors classes, and it varies according to who's available to teach in various colleges. And so one of the things we've done in the last few years is try and address that concern by having other ways in which students can earn honors credits when they're here, including the Goldwater Scholar Society. Recognize that. Work on certificates. Some students are going to conferences to present. So we're trying to counterbalance that with encouraging other activities, service as well.
And is it easy to have faculty teach the classes? Is there a waiting list, or do you have to go out begging?
Fair question, and it works all of the above, right? Yeah. Because we have obviously lots of students and a lot of demand. One thing I notice, including myself, it's always a pleasure to teach those classes. So it's not just faculty don't want to; it's a matter of if we're going to keep them for honors students only, can we afford to offer this or the other? But I think we offer over about 130 honors classes a year right now, and we're always hoping we can increase that.
Dan, when you were well, you're still in the honors program, but when you started doing your research, what kind of research have you done, and how has it played a role in getting the Goldwater Scholarship? Because that's quite prestigious.
Well, I'm actually involved in research in computational chemistry on protein folding and protein dynamics. And actually that was because of the honors program. I'm involved in the lab of my honors general chemistry 1 professor, Dr. Yang, and I actually got started to researching in his lab in my 2nd semester as a freshman year through the honors research option for the General Chemistry 2 lab. So the honors program is actually directly involved in getting me involved in research at such an early stage, and that has really facilitated me getting a depth of understanding that has allowed me to, in my research, that has allowed me to apply for things like the Goldwater and be successful.
It's a fantastic statement about what opportunity means in helping people be successful. Were you surprised to get the Goldwater?
I honestly was a little bit surprised. This is the 2nd year I'd applied for it, and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to be notified either way, whether I got it or I didn't. And so I was checking the website every couple of days, and I saw that the results had been posted, and I'm like, oh, I didn't get an email, so it must not have been me. So I just randomly went to the list and typed my name in, and then I saw my name, and I was sort of disbelieving for a few moments. And then after that, it sort of started to sink in, and I was obviously very pleased to have it.
Yeah, well, I was very impressed because I saw you in the circus, I saw you at some other function, and then I saw you at the Office of National National Fellowships, and I thought, okay, this is a serious guy that's here. And of course, you listen to the thesis topic that you're working on, which is wonderful. But I'll tell you that in your first time that you applied for the Goldwater, and I asked because I had already met you. Okay. And the office says, no, but I think he'll get it next year. So they were very confident that you were clearly on your way.
Gotcha. Well, they definitely
and to be doing it so young to apply, that's fantastic. It's just fantastic.
Now, when you're finished with the program, how will you and all the other honor students, how do they get recognized? Is it just for something at graduation, or does it go something beyond that?
There's the two components, of course, the honors program, and they complete that to earn an honors medallion by earning 18 honors credit hours or honors points, and that goes on their transcript. It's noted they completed the honors program, and if they completed honors in the major, it will state on their transcript, major in with honors. So there is, it's on a document, right? We also have an awards ceremony for all these students each year, and they get a medallion, hence the name that they wear to commencement. And what I tell them is how the best recognition they have is they can proudly say that the rest of their lives, that they were an honors student, and it gets noticed. Certainly if they apply to graduate schools, when I see that on an application, and it's something that they can take great pride in, and it says a lot about them as students and as people who want to take challenges. So.
It's on my CV. Florida State honors student, right there. I take it with a great deal of pride that I did that so many years ago. It was wonderful. You know, we talked about all these things that are going on, and even there's the potential for honors housing. But we have a new project underway to create an honors scholars and fellows house. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. This is a project we're really thrilled about, and the building has started, as we know, and we're hoping to be in place soon. Right now, the honors program works in close conjunction with the Office of Undergraduate Research and the Office of National Fellows, and we're down at the stadium, and we're a collection of offices. Right? So we're not quite at the center of campus, and other than to manage the programs, it's not a great place for students to show up. I mean, they have to go out of their way, such as Dan did. Right?
That is a bit of a hike.
So this house is going to go next to the William Johnson building, and apart from the offices, it's going to have meeting rooms, study rooms. We're going to have a big reading room. We'll have a lovely banquet room with a full kitchen. So this is a place students can meet, congregate, come together as a community. And you know, Dean Laughlin and I have talked about it, and she's championing this obviously, as is President Barron, because it's such a great opportunity. And she's reminded me it's kind of like an incubator where we can bring students in. They can fulfill all the challenges. So we really see it as a part of the whole program, an important piece. It's going to change it. Right?
So you create the sense of community, but also you go in there, you take an honors class,
yes,
and right next door is all those people that are going to help you.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. That's key. So more students will know about this, because we can, and they'll come to the place, to a house, to this place where they actually spend time, and we can walk them right to these offices.
And the Office of National Fellows will take you right into helping get the Goldwater and all those other things. It's a very nice tie-in.
So you're not going back and forth to campus and look. Right. So how much impact do you think it'll have?
I think it'll definitely have a major impact. Just the visibility of these offices in the very center of campus on Landis Green is going to make a big difference in the number of students that relatively consider applying for these awards. It'll probably bring it a lot to the forefront instead of having to really seek it out. A lot of maybe eligible students who would be doing a lot better in terms of national awards would be right there. They walk by Landis Green almost every day. So, and then also having these same programs in the same house, in the honors house, is really going to facilitate basically the communication between the offices, because I was personally introduced to Dr. Filer, the head of the Office of National Fellowships, by the honors director at the time of my entry, because I'd gone to see them. So it's really the cross-pollination, if you will, is really will have a big impact, I think.
So just out of curiosity, we talked about all these wonderful opportunities of smaller classes, interaction with the faculty. These I would call them tickets to success. Mm-hmm. But have you felt a sense of community among honors students while you're here, or your friends friends come from everywhere?
Well, I definitely have friends from everywhere in my school life, from the circus, from honors classes, a majority from the honors classes, and while the honors, the housing provides a lot of sense of community, I think it would be even greater in a new honors building where they could, not only would there be nearby the housing, but you could have a place to study. I mean, who's not going to hang out on a rooftop garden? I mean, really? I know I will.
I told Dean Laughlin the rooftop garden was mine. I was going to move my office there. And she had this really disappointed look on her face because I think she thought I was serious for a moment. And of course I wasn't. But.
I need to get a plug in here for the house. If you go to the honors website, which is honors.fsu.edu, one of our recent honors students in creative writing who graduated in the spring wrote a lovely newsletter, and there's a link right to about the house. It's really a nice introduction to the house, and there's a nice link to a page where you can contribute to the house fund, because we're still trying to raise funds to complete the house by next fall, we hope.
With the 80th anniversary that I mentioned at the start of the show, you've got some things planned for that. Tell us about that.
Well, we do an annual welcome event. The Honors Student Association does an annual welcome event for incoming students, and we have food, we have barbecue. This is at Landis Green, and they get an honors T-shirt. And this year we have a logo we've come up with. It says the 80th anniversary honors program be on the T-shirt, and that'll be kind of our kickoff and a reminder to them that they're part of a long legacy of achieving students. Someone will have a DJ and photo booth, and some guests from around campus. So we have that event. Then for the next 8 weeks, we're going to be featuring videos online or radio interviews. President Barron has done one of these already, and Dan, to showcase the program, as well as some alumni. And then on homecoming, 8 weeks out, October 26th, we're going to have kind of, at the end of the parade, an honors 80th birthday party, if you will. And I would mention all honors alumni are invited to show up for that. We're going to have some treats, and also be a chance to walk down and show them where the new honors house is going to be.
I think you got one alumni here who's going to definitely be there.
I'm counting on it.
Thank you all for joining us. We've been talking with Dr. James Mathis and Senior Dan Stribling about the FSU Honors Program. To learn more about the program, go to honors.fsu.edu. When we come back, Dr. Barron and I will talk one-on-one about more issues in education. Welcome back to Issues in Education. I'm Suzanne Smith, talking with Dr. Eric Barron, the president of the Florida State University. Dr. Barron, we've been talking about the FSU Honors Program. The freshman class at FSU is already very, very impressive. Why can taking part in an honors program be so important for a college student?
Well, I think for any college student, there's a key. Don't just go in and out of the classroom. Take advantage of all the opportunities. And the more you take advantage of the opportunities, the more successful that you're likely to be. And the honors program is an opportunity to really take advantage of not only the skills of the student, but to take advantage of all the faculty in a very different way, in a smaller classes, in more in-depth study, in the opportunities for research. And we see over and over again that all of those factors make a student more successful for their entire lives.
Now, you are an honors student, and so what advice do you have to students who are starting their honors program or students who are thinking about applying at the end of the fall semester?
Well, that same notion of take advantage of opportunity, but I think also to take advantage of the breadth of opportunity. You heard Dan say something about taking an honors class in Shakespeare, and yet here he is in a computational science program and as his major. And so you think about that contrast. This just makes the whole educational experience richer.
Research is so often thought of as something just graduate students do. Why is it important at the undergraduate level?
Well, we know it's a ticket to an advanced degree. We know that among the science and engineering fields, the honors program is an attractor. And things like undergraduate research and honors are demonstrably tickets to getting those advanced degrees, and an advanced degree in the science is the way you can really be successful. You don't really enter physics with an undergraduate degree. You enter physics and make contributions that are at a very high level because you go through physics and then you take an advanced degree. So this is really an enabler when you think about it.
The National High Magnetic Field Laboratory is expected to receive their 5-year renewal grant of more than $160 million from the National Science Foundation. What does that mean for FSU?
Okay, so first of all, this is the only national lab in the state of Florida. That's certainly a source of pride. Thousands of visitors come in every year. These are scientists that are coming here to execute their research. That's another significant factor. It generates a lot of innovations. You could have an entire program on the innovations that are coming out of the Mag Lab. So this means it has significant economic impact on the state of Florida. And in fact, for every dollar that the state of Florida gives us, the Mag Lab generates between 5 and 7 additional dollars that go into the economy.
The students that do the undergraduate research and the graduate research, they also gain from having all these people here and doing these projects.
Absolutely. They really start with K through 12 and they move on to assisting undergraduates, and you have this rich group of faculty and researchers. And the thing that I'm always impressed about is that those individuals are eager to help undergraduates be successful. They see these really bright people, and I think we all have a sense of what their potential is, and this is a way to deliver.
As the new fall semester begins, do you have any advice for students this year as they start?
Start well. Know what it takes to be successful. Become engaged. Take advantage of what's here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Barron. That's our time for now. Please join us again next month for more Issues in Education. You can watch the premiere episode of Issues in Education the first Wednesday of every month at 7:30 p.m. That means you can see the next new episode on Wednesday, October 3rd on WFSU-TV. Join us as we discuss the latest developments in higher education happening around the state and across the country. If you have questions that you would like us to address on this program, you can email us at issues@wfsu.org. Again, that's issues@wfsu.org. If you would like to see past episodes of Issues in Education, head to the President's website at president.fsu.edu. I'm Suzanne Smith with the Florida State University President, Dr. Eric Barron, for Issues in Education. We'll see you next time.
Financial support for the production of Issues in Education is provided by the Florida State University License Plate. Your FSU license plate supports scholarships for students who enrich and contribute to our communities. Special programs, gift certificates, and rebates for first-time buyers online at fsu.edu/mytag.